You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
Welcome back to the show. The Wexford County Manager, Adrian Doyle, is here with me in studio. Adrian, start by giving our listeners an insight into your distinguished career with Wexford County Council, please.
Well, I started a long time ago in January 1971 with Wexford County Council. And in 1974, I was Town Clerk in Uross for about 6 months. After that, I was Town Clerk in Middleton in County Cork for just over 2 years. And I came back to Wexford County Council. And I've been here since. I've been in all the management positions. I suppose I've been Head of Finance, I've been County Secretary, I was Developments Manager and Director of Service. And now I'm, for the time being, the County Manager. And
as County Manager, what are the big priorities facing you this year?
Well, obviously finance is a problem for all organisations. Managing change is a big issue. And there's a lot of change coming within the local government sector. The abolition of town councils will come next year. Water is being privatised, and we're playing our part in the establishment of Irish Water. And I suppose the general economic problems that are out there and the part that we can play in trying to attract investment, improve the overall community life, and build infrastructure.
I want to have a quick chat to you about a number of infrastructural projects that are almost ready to start at this stage across the county. Let's start off about the roads projects. What's coming up on those?
Well, the new connection of the inner relief road in front of the Department of the Environment and the hospital in the new County Hall will be open in the end of June. Will help traffic flow in Wexford enormously, I think. The big project then is the New Ross bypass, which as part of the government bundle, and also the Enniscorthy bypass. The New Ross bypass is slightly further ahead than Enniscorthy, but we'd expect to see a start in New Ross towards the second half of next year, and Enniscorthy about 6 months after, and there will be substantial projects there in the order of $500 million each. So there will be a big investment in Wexford.
Talk me through the process in relation to the gas plant that's being constructed out in Great Island.
Well, the gas plant is a replacement of the oil burning plant that was there, and it's the largest infrastructural project in Ireland at the moment under construction. It will cost in the order of €330 million. It involved the connection of Wexford to the gas grid by bringing gas from Kilkenny down to Campile, and Bord Gas have also agreed then that the pipeline will be extended into Wexford town, and that should happen as well towards the end of next year. That should be completed. Yeah.
Let's talk about broadband for a second. What's been done to improve broadband speeds and consistency across the county?
Well, Eircom are on a rollout of fibre in the 4 main towns, and we've agreed an operation with them whereby the one road opening licence will cover each town. As I understand it at the moment, I think Enniscorthy and Gorey are almost complete, and the other towns will be complete in the next 12 months, which will increase speeds and efficiency and increase the bandwidth. We
couldn't miss the opportunity to speak about the Rosslare Europort this morning. Any update in relation to what's happening out there?
Well, I understand the consultants' report will be Inbicon, or the consultants, and their report will be made available to the Minister for Transport, and they will make recommendations. We have made our own submission, and our submission as the County Council submission has been consistent over the last 15 years or so. We feel that a dedicated company should be set up to run the port, and that was part of a report that was done, the Wexford Enterprise Initiative, I think it's it's certainly 12 years ago, and one of the recommendations in that initiative was that CIE shouldn't really be running the port. It's not part of their core business, and that Wexford and the region would be better served by a dedicated port company or port authority.
So we'll see what the outcome of that report is over the coming weeks. Just to focus on the Wexford Local Enterprise Board for now, a decision was made at government level last year to dissolve the enterprise boards and to move their function and facility into that of the local authority. Explain to our listeners what's happening there, please.
The county enterprise boards will be wound up by legislation in the coming months, and all, I think 31 or 32 boards will be wound up, and a new entity established within the local authority called the Local Enterprise Office will take over the role. The staff will transfer into the County Council, and we will then take on the role of support of small and medium-sized enterprise, as was done under the County Enterprise Board.
Will business owners notice any change? For instance, will there be any further or additional facilities or services available through this LEO?
Well, what the LEO will do is it will bring the CEB staff, the County Enterprise Board staff, into our organisation, and with that into the knowledge base that is there in terms of infrastructure and access to infrastructure and to our engineering services, etc., that they wouldn't have had as a standalone operation. All of this is in keeping with the government policy as set out in putting people first for the reform of local government, which involves the abolition of towns and the setting up of district councils. So Wexford will have 4 town and districts as they are at the moment: Enniscorthy, New Ross and Gorey and Wexford. They'll have an increased number of councillors at the county council, but no town council. There's also an emphasis within that document on the local authority being the driver of economic development. And I suppose this is a throwback to the 1963 Planning Act, when a specific provision there was that local authorities should be development corporations for their areas. And I think we're moving back to that. And the one-stop shop that will be created by the enterprise boards becoming a local enterprise office within the local authorities, and a greater role in the making the county more attractive for foreign direct investment. I think we would hope to be a one-stop shop for big and small businesses.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit about foreign direct investment. Before we do, talk to me about your plans for the library and in relation to bringing an information service for business into it.
Well, what we're hoping to do is that we would create a section within the library which is business related, so that people would be able to find literature and get assistance on searches within the internet for businesses and business topics. It's been formulated at the moment by the county librarian, and we should be in a position later in the year to be more specific on our plans.
That's certainly very encouraging. Now, from a foreign direct investment perspective, we touched on it a little bit earlier on in relation to attracting new companies, especially those of a multinational nature, into County Wexford itself. We've been very badly served by the IDA over the last 12 or 15 years. What task is the local authority going to take in relation to putting more of a focus on that for the future?
Well, we're going to work with the IDA in terms of looking at what's available in terms of buildings and sites, keeping an inventory of those, and ensuring that there's a ready database of premises and sites that can be developed, and also ensuring that, as far as possible, that the infrastructure to those sites is as modern and up to date as it can be. The IDA have their itineraries, and we need to ensure that Wexford gets better exposure on those itineraries than we have been getting of late. We've had some big investments like Atlantic Resources, which is Coca-Cola, and we would hope that in the future we will have more people calling to us, and we would hope through connections in the Wexford Business Network that people who are aware of interested parties or people who are interested in investing in Ireland would come to us and give Wexford a chance to put our best foot forward. You mentioned the Wexford Business Network there. It was launched earlier this week in Dublin. Explain to our listeners what it's all about. What it's about is hopefully, first of all, awareness. For example, the number of Wexford firms that have won awards and major awards, we want people within business to be aware of the number and excellence of the Wexford firms. We also want to see if we can get some interaction and synergies between the existing Wexford firms. We also want to create a forum where we can harvest ideas and where people can feed ideas into us, and as I said earlier on, possible connections of businesses that might be looking to relocate from possibly Dublin, or businesses that are coming into the country, that we would get a chance to make our contacts. We also intend producing an e-zine, an IT magazine, which would be sent to everyone in the business network, probably 2 monthly, with an update on what's happening in the county in terms of investment, where major infrastructure projects are at, and how they're progressing, when they'll finish, etc. There's a lot of investment coming into the county, and what we want to do is ensure that people are kept up to date with what's happening, and also then that businesses will get an opportunity to see what business opportunities lie for them in that investment.
Were you happy with the outcome of the event earlier this week in Dublin?
Very happy. We got a very good response, a very positive response. We had 4 speakers on the night. Peter Gavigan from the project in Campile was excellent, and Anne Kent from Anne O'Brien. Anne Kent was excellent as well in talking about a company from small beginnings to being exporter of the year. And the 2 ministers, Paul Keogh and Brendan Howlin, were extremely positive about the future for Wexford and future investment in Wexford. So yeah, we were very happy. It was upbeat. The message was good. And hopefully we're on a track of everybody working together for the greater good of Wexford.
One of the main challenges facing the development of the group itself will be getting Dublin-based businesses to engage. How are you going to overcome that challenge?
Well, we held the event in Dublin, and we invited people who had Wexford connections and who are in business in the Dublin area, and we got a good attendance from those people. And we will be keeping in touch with them, and hopefully they will be keeping in touch with us. And that was one of the reasons for holding the event in Dublin. So we're hoping to play the kind of diaspora card for Wexford, and that's, we're looking for help and support from people who have been successful in business but are not necessarily now living in the county, but would like to have a chance to put something back.
Like any new initiative, it wasn't without its criticism. Some of the smaller business people across the county were of the opinion that maybe this should have been held in Wexford to start off with. What would you say to that?
Well, what you've said earlier is the important point. We wanted to reach people, Wexford people in Dublin. We were holding it on a working day. It was 5:30 in the evening, and I don't think we could have asked those people to drive down to Wexford for that event. At the end of the day, we held it in the capital city, and I don't think we'd have got the same attendance if we'd held it in Wexford, to be honest.
And tell me this, what do you think is unique about Wexford? What's its unique selling point with a view to looking to attract foreign direct investment, or even national businesses to locate or relocate their own businesses to Wexford?
Well, I suppose, first of all, proximity to Dublin, which is... The time to Dublin is getting shorter all the time. The quality of life is very high in Wexford. In all our towns, we have a very high standard of living. We are very close to the ferry, so location is an important point for us. On top of that, we have an educated workforce. We've the colleges of Carlow and Waterford. The greater number of students in those colleges from a county base come from Wexford. So we also have, as we demonstrated on the night, industry that has won awards all over Europe and small and large, I should add. So that we've proven that we can do it. We've proven that we have an eye to excellence, and that we can deliver quality, and our business can deliver quality. So I think that would be the selling points. Our existing businesses can sell to new business, and I think that's important.
Adrian, if I didn't ask you this question, I'd have every second business person in the county coming up and asking me why. The whole issue of commercial rates, has the position changed in recent times in relation to those or not? And secondly, I suppose there's business people out there today, they're hanging in just about, and they feel they're not getting value for the commercial rates they're paying, and they don't feel it's an equitable system. What would you say to that?
First of all, the rates in Wexford haven't increased in 5 years. And on top of that, we have introduced a discount of 5% for small, medium-sized businesses for early payment, or an agreed payment plan. We're the only ones in the country that have done that. And that's a reduction of 5%. 75% of our ratepayers pay €5,000 or less. So there's a potential saving there. Rates are a system that funds local government, and while people might say they don't get any value for it, I would say, well, who funds the library? Who funds road maintenance? The charges that we have for the fire service recover only a fraction of the cost of the fire service. There's a planning service required. Development plans have to be passed and have to be written. So there's loads of service. Civil defence is another service. There's loads of services out there that we provide that people don't necessarily relate to the rates, but those services are there. I can understand that people in business feel that they're carrying a greater part of the burden. That's national policy. We didn't make it. There are 1,100 ratepayers in the county. There are 40,000 houses and there are lots of farms. It's a political issue, and we're tasked with finding our funding from rates. And what we have tried to do is, through efficiencies and through alternative sources of funding, to try and keep the rates as we have done, because I don't think you will find any charge from anybody that hasn't gone up in the last 5 years. So, if you look at, say, electricity charges, telephone charges, etc., they've all gone up. We've stayed still. There's not an awful lot more we can do. If we don't collect, we have to cut services. And it's worth noting, the rates didn't increase over 5 years. Services haven't been cut.
Adrian, my final question for you. Community spirit is a big part to play in the model county. What's the council doing to develop that?
Yeah, I would agree, first of all, wholeheartedly with that statement in relation to community spirit. What we've been doing in the towns, particularly Wexford and New Ross, we've established strong tidy towns groups, people who are going out on a regular basis. You'll see them out with yellow jackets doing clean-ups and paint-ups and planting, etc. What we would hope to do is, this year, we've taken on 4 or 5 villages that we want to bring up the standard of the village by improving the approaches to the village, by improving the appearance. We know that local communities may not have the wherewithal, either financially or manpower, to do some of the things that need to be done. But if we do them, we would hope to engage with the community where they'll take them over, look after them, ensure they're not damaged, ensure they're maintained. So we're doing a number of them this year. People will see the difference. And if that programme is successful, we'd hope to double that next year and go on from there. We have some beautiful villages, but a lot of the villages we're looking at now will be bypassed by the major bypass I talked about earlier. And we need to get those villages to a point where they become communities in their own right, not just places that were on a national primary route. And we hope to have a rollout of a programme that will achieve that.
Adrian, many thanks for speaking to us this morning, and I wish you every success in your role as County Manager. Here at Business Matters, we want to hear your thoughts on the programme. You can contact me directly on Twitter at Karl Fitzpatrick. We're almost at closing time here at Business Matters, but before we go, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my production team, my guests for their contribution, and especially you for listening. Join me again next Saturday morning when I'll be speaking to more of the business leaders that you want to know more about. But in the meantime, enjoy the remainder of your bank holiday weekend.
You're listening to South East Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.